Hello and welcome to the first episode of my brand new Factorio series. Now, I know Factorio is kind of not very well known, but there is a lot of content out already on YouTube. I thought I have something I could possibly add to the mix. Um, it's currently an early access game. Not many people are kind of aware of it. Well, at least no one I know is aware of it besides people I've introduced. Um, and basically what you do is you kind of build a factory. It's all about kind of automation, getting things as efficient as possible. At least that's how I try and play. Um, the story of the game is kind of you're trying to build up enough resources and technology to get a rocket defense system to come and save you. So a rocket can come and save you, sorry, from the alien planet that you're stranded on. I'm just going to say this now. This story will play possibly zero relevance to the entire game. In fact, there's a whole campaign that no one I know has even touched. Because it's basically a sandbox game where you can just go and do what you want. You don't have to complete the game. You can keep on building this factory, getting it more and more efficient. I don't think I've ever actually completed a game of Factorio. I've been too busy. No, I just want to do this thing. No, I'll go do this thing. It's just hyper addictive. I can't stop myself playing it. I might need help at this point. So as you can see, we have the settings for the game here. They're pretty straightforward. Terrain segmentation you normally kind of want to keep low because otherwise the world kind of gets all janky and there's kind of big pools of water everywhere. And speaking of water, I'm not, the biggest fan of having it anyway. It kind of cuts into your production lines later on in the game, and it's just not nice. I mean, you're trying to get this really long production line, and then any kind of bends in it will suddenly slow things down. And early game, it's not an issue. That's why there is an option for only in the starting area. In fact, you do need it early on to help you get power for your factory. All of these settings are pretty much self-explanatory. I kind of don't often change them unless I'm going for some kind of weird custom map. But no, this is the first one. So this is Factorio Freeplay! Your task is to prepare the planet for the colonize. Oh, okay. I got the story wrong. Shows how much I read this. So you need to build the defense system to actually help your people colonize. Now this is what the game looks like. This is what you'll be seeing the entire time. And you have kind of four main resources that you kind of harvest, at least early on in the game. You have coal, which is this kind of black stuff here. It's quite, it's like coal in any other game. There's stone, which is kind of needed, and then kind of not, and then kind of needed again later on. It's kind of a weird thing. It will hopefully make sense. And then you have the two big ones, iron ore and copper ore. Iron ore is what you make pretty much everything out of in the early game. There will be some kind of copper mixed in, but at least early on until you start doing circuitry, it's not as important. Though you do get circuits pretty quick, they aren't kind of advanced and won't be eating through the copper as quickly as you'll be eating through all of this iron. But this iron will be gone as well. I know it doesn't. Well, I know it looks like a lot if you haven't played the game, but it is quite a lot. So this is the map screen as well. As you can see, we've got the coal, the stone, the copper, and the iron. These pink dots as well, which this is really kind of a good starting area for this. This is all oil, crude oil out of the ground, which you kind of in the mid to late game, at least in my eyes, you start to kind of pump out of the ground and turn it into other things like petroleums, and it's kind of needed for plastic. You get sulfur from it. You can make raw fuel out of it to help harvest things as well. Here's once again the tech tree. Now the yellow ones are ones which I'm able to go and do my research for right now. These ones are all kind of helpful. The key one you want early on is automation. Simply because you're one person. You can't go and build, all of this stuff by yourself. Some of it takes a very long time. Like a single science pack will take you 5.5 seconds. These ones take you 8.8 seconds. And that over time will slowly add up. So if you get automation, you can actually get assembling machines that will go and do these things for you. Albeit not so quick. As you can see, the crafting speed is 0.5, which is half as quickly as you as the player would do it, but 2 of them, that's as quick as you can do it. 4 of them, twice as quick. It's exponential, it adds up. I suppose it's not exponential, it's linear, but that's besides the point. Now you've got logistics, which helps you kind of move things around your factory quicker. You've got things like underground transport belts, so you can kind of, if there's something blocking you, go under it. It's simple enough. A fast we'll get to inserters in a second, and splitters are so you can kind of split transport belts off. Now the first thing I always do in this game is kind of cheat a little bit. Let's craft an iron axe, because otherwise it takes too long to get the stone. And by God does it take a long time if you don't do this. So I'll get a few stone, a few coal. You do start with 2 things in your inventory as well. You start with what's known as a burner mining drill, which is a drill, you put it down somewhere and it will mine for you. I'm not going to be using that yet. Instead, I'm going to be doing all my iron ore by hand. You see how I have 4? I want another burner mining drill, which will, let's see, it says at the bottom, it requires 9 in total. I'm pointing at my screen, you can't see it. At the bottom it gives you the total raw material cost, which is 5 stone, which I just went and got, and 9 iron ore. 4 of that I already have, and so I'm only going to need another 5. Shouldn't have been that long to do that maths. And from there, it will turn those into the iron gear wheels, which are actually required part of the recipe. So, once I've got another 2 of these, 1 more, oop, that's 5. So if I chuck the 5 ore in, give it a coal, I don't need 2. What's on? Yeah, nowhere near needing 2. Awesome. So grab those, grab this back, and let's make the miner drill. So this is the little kind of cheat I was talking about, is these things kind of mine quicker than they use the fuel. As you can see, boom, it's got me a coal, and let's put it straight out into this one. You can tell that by the little orange arrow here. So basically they're going back and forth, giving each other coal faster than they're using the coal. It's a bit nonsensical, I completely agree on that point, but it's also helpful, because now I don't have to worry about my coal production for a couple minutes. So then we come back down here, but no we don't, we run back up here. I'm going to need another one of these. Does your player run quicker over grass? Seems like every so often when running through there I speed up a little bit. It's weird. It might just be me seeing things. Cool. I probably should have got 15, but I always run back up, it's no big deal. I was going to say, there's no trees about, but zooming out there's actually quite a lot. Now I know it kind of, you don't need them early on, however when you start doing things with electronics you are going to need to build the small electrical poles, which do require wood and copper to help you route your power around, so we're going to need some copper in a short while as well. 9, there we go. I'm not 100% sure that's going to last me, but luckily I can leave it going, run up here, grab some coal. Control clicking takes out everything that's in it, so I now have 29 coal. Ooh. Wasn't as close as I thought it would be. Cool, so now we have 9 of those, we can get another burner mining drill. Just want to move this one closer. In fact, I want to move them both one over as well. Cool, so we'll give half the coal to that, half the coal to that. I'll get them in the right place. Cool, so now I'm automatically smelting, which is awesome. You might be asking, why am I crafting more things? I think, in fact I'm fairly certain there's a hard limit on how much a stone furnace can actually hold here. I don't know how high that actually is, but to stop that happening I'm going to, straight away, use one of these inserters I mentioned earlier. I'll give this some fuel. Dun, 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 dun. What it will then do is take the things from this and put it into a chest. Normally you would have it going kind of onto a conveyor belt of sorts. For now this will do it, make sure this isn't going to get backed up. It's usually eating fuel quite quickly though, so I am going to go and grab some of my coal. I know this is stone, I just wanted to get myself up to a nice around 10. Because then I can build another inserter and another, what's it called? Snowy dude. I got the coal out of both because I've got enough for the inserters as well. And soon we're going to need to start making our own electricity. Very soon in fact, because right now it's going to be very difficult to keep up anything. I do that all the time. I don't know why I've not gotten out of the habit, but... So these kind of have symbols on them to help you know which way they're going to be picking up for a amount dropping off. It's kind of easy to see by the modelers. Maybe it's not so easy, unless it's easy once it's been powered. Give that some coal. I don't think they do it very fast. My gosh, are they slow. Okay, so I think it's about time we get the offshore pump going when we can. Which we now can. Now, my only gripe with this, at least early on, is how much room it takes up. I'm going to go this way just because it won't end up eating... Yeah, I'm going to go this way. It's not going to be too much of a problem. Also, I don't know if you can tell very well on the video, but kind of some areas of the map are getting slightly more red. That's actually the pollution from our factories. The more pollution we make, the more the kind of the local wildlife will become angry, start attacking us. And the later in the game, and the more pollution you make, and the more of them you kill, they actually start becoming more and more kind of violent. It's quite a good concept, I think. Ooh, we are going to need a lot of stone. The good thing about stone, however, you don't need to smelt it. So I've got 5. Grab one of these. I need fuel again. See, this is why it's so much nicer automating things. You don't have to keep running back to your coal mines to get more. You just bang. Why do I even need them? Oh, it's for the boilers, okay. There's no harm in me helping along, is there? So early game, you don't need as many as I'm going to build, I don't think, but I like to be as efficient as possible, which is 10 boilers. I've only got 3 there, but you need 10 boilers to every 13 steam engines. So I always just try getting the 10 boilers down first, and then just kind of later on adding the steam engines as I need to be. That's put me up to 5. You notice they need fuel as well. What they basically do is heat up the water so that it can work in a steam engine. If you think of it as a train, that's what you put the coal in. By a train, I mean a kind of classical steam train, not the electric or fancy ones we have nowadays. There should be 8. Nine. 10. Now, I'm not rotating these. Luckily, the game is smart enough to be able to do that for me, which is awesome. We're going to need some of these electric inserters as well, in my opinion at least. Without them, it just becomes such a hassle. We'll just do 1 for now. See, I don't have kind of gears or the circuits in my inventory, or even the copper wire for the circuit. So what it will do is it will make every prerequisite for you, which I think is such a nice feature rather than going, okay, I need to make an inserter, so that means I need to make 2 copper wire to make a circuit, to make, you know, and it's just, it kind of cuts out the middleman of you just sitting there filling in your inventory and lets you get on with the game. Which is something I kind of wish more games could take note of. Now, these have a different icon, which means they don't have any electric power, which is different to just needing fuel. That's not good. This one shouldn't have run out of fuel. The first thing I always try building afterwards is kind of a track to come down here and feed these with fuel. It simply saves kind of my time having to make sure these are fueled up every few minutes. It will just happen. I can leave it, my base will be powered, it will be perfect. See, this is so slow. So we have 14 of them, which is not great, but it's not terrible. You never actually put one in front of the final thing. What it can do is it can kind of, they get pushed slightly onto this square, which means this one here will be like, oh, there's stuff on my square, I'm going to grab it and put it in the boiler. I didn't realise how much copper we had already. This is what it's like early game. Now you're always scrounging for iron plates and you never never run out of copper. Especially with something that size, like early game, that's going to be more than enough copper for what we're going to be using. Another weird thing is, why is the steam engine saying it's not got power? Now if you're looking at kind of a thing that produces power like that, what it means is it's not connected to a network at all. So what we'll need to do is hook that up to everything that's going to be using our electricity. So, boop, and then, boop. Okay, I got the signs wrong. That's the no power one. The other one is, I'm not plugged in. So, you know, it's not on the network, something's gone wrong. Now, why am I running it up here to the coal? Some of you may have noticed already, there was something else in my kind of crafting window that I've hovered over a few times, so I've not clicked. It's the electric mining drill. Basically, it lets us do away with these, which aren't nice. They use, well, they produce a lot of pollution as well. I mean, we're not even very big and we're already covered at least my whole visible area. These, I think, use less pollution. They consume a lot less energy as well, so they're a lot more efficient at least. Eventually we'll have those kind of everywhere. I didn't mean to click that. For now though, we'll just go ahead and do it this way. If I even have enough. I do! Cool, so they're going to spit it out onto this track. Now, how does that help us all? If I put one in there, we should slowly start producing power. So now we have power for these. And they're going to grab the coal and put it into the boilers as they need it. So if this one suddenly has been like, oh, I don't need any more, thank you very much, then this one will get it. And then eventually what you want to be at least is kind of have a slight backlog of coal so they can just grab it, any of these, when they need it. Right now we're not producing very much, but I think they go through it very fast, which is very nice. Now those two will kind of run out of the fuel powering them soon, which is kind of why I'm in a hurry to switch over to the electric ones. And the sooner the better, because I don't like staying on the other ones anyway. Oh, that's not done. These also mine at kind of twice the rate of these, which is so much nicer. You save a lot more time. Yeah, it's so much quicker, but it uses a lot more power. So production, if that gets kind of to the top, that's it, that's our maxed out. We're using too much power, we need to produce more. Yeah, these two, in my opinion, are backwards. Because we're producing as it's needed, rather than having excess. I guess it makes sense so you don't waste anything, but I don't know, to me they seem like they're labelled backwards. That's an annoying thing I do always forget though. You can't run past boilers or any above ground pipes, or actually anything. You know, you can't run through these. That'd be silly. So now this one's gone, but I'm still going to just give fuel to these for now. I don't think they're as important as, you know, getting the things like my iron online, because I've been using this a lot more. As I said, the early game you use so much more iron, and the early game's quite boring, so, you know, apologies But later on it'll be a lot quicker, there'll be so many more things to do, and I will probably lose track. I hope I don't, but every playthrough so far I've overlooked something and my base has just gone, no, we'll give it up with you. Oh, this needs to be plugged in. So these ones have kind of a range of 7 squares. Okay. I was cutting close, I didn't think I'd make it. Yeah, we're actually now outputting quicker than this can use them. However, probably in the next video at this point, we will kind of automate all the smelting. We'll probably use some of the area down here or over here. It's a huge area around here. We'll see how it gets on. Because this is nice backing up with ore. It's not what you want. We're getting an electric one on here as well, just so the fuel's not being used all the time. Cool. We really don't use much fuel. Stop using the wood though, just have all in you. It will last even longer. Oh, they do show how much fuel they produce. I never knew that. So we can see how much of everything we're making. Not much. You know, you can see when we run out of... Oh no, that's the one I just replaced it. Where's when we run out of... That must be where we run out of fuel. And I guess the same there. So 21 plates. 2 more. Oop. That was close, I almost made a steam engine. Do not want another one of those. Yeah, this is kind of the slower part of the game. Once you've kind of got the basics set up, it's a lot of sitting about waiting for things to be produced, at least in my opinion. You kind of got an idea of what I'm going to be doing in a minute, which is going to be kind of... That was a lot of stone. I'm going to be kind of putting them together using belts to actually move the raw ore to somewhere else to kind of hand off the smelting. The biggest issue with down here is 1, there's no coal, and 2, I just spotted running through, there's just water. Water in this game is impassable, there's no way around it. It's a bit of a pain really. I mean, it's nice at the moment because it just means there aren't aliens here, we don't have to defend this way, yes, we're fine. Which is actually really good early game. Because if you start too close to the biters, which are what the aliens are called, it's just a pain, you know? But the biggest problem I've got is how am I going to get all the coal from up there down to here? I was going to do this because it's... I'm going to make an iron chest because I like using iron chests. They hold more, they're slightly more sturdy, they don't die as quick as the other ones, 50 health, 100 health, yeah. Set those values backwards. There they are. So if you do get attacked, you'll be fine to some extent. Oh, that's cool. If the furnaces do get a full stack, they just stop building. Okay. Yeah, it has a full stack of ore in it. Anyway, I think that's time. So, thanks for watching if you did make it this far, and I will see you next time.